All right, good morning. I'm here to trim the plates that I threw. Got this design. I threw 5 plates. They feel pretty good, leather hard at the bottom. So this is just a manufactured plate that I have, happen to be here. So you can see on the back side, there's that profile. You've got the kind of flat inside section. You got the little rim. I got the same kind of thing. It's a different design, slightly more upright, but that's how it's designed. It does have this section that sits on the table. So there's that little ring right there at the bottom, and that's sort of what I'm gonna be trying to trim to carve out some of this part away. Mine's gonna be a little wider. The plates that I have are gonna be it's gonna be a little wider out. This is not gonna be as wide as it is. And I'm thinking about possibly adding a second circle in the middle, because as clay heats up in the kiln, it does have a tendency to slump a little bit. So if you have a ring on the outside and a ring on the inside, it's probably less likely to slump into a dish. I've also seen platters that have a couple of those things on the bottom, even though they are manufactured at like an industrial scale. So I have these plates. Feels pretty good, kind of leather hard. Clay still moves, but it's not, it's not scratchy, it's not dry. I did flip them onto a bat. I did have to recut them off the bat. So it was drying on a bat like that. I took this other bat, put it on top, and then kind of sandwiched them to flip and remove the other one so that the base could dry out and have access to air. So I let that sit. It feels pretty good now. I monitored it. I wrapped it in plastic. Whenever I left for the day, I would make sure that they were covered in plastic really well so they would not dry out anymore. So I'm going to try and tap center this, and you can see it's like off a little, but it's pretty close. I'm going to look at the rim here. Couple taps, that looks pretty good right there. I'm gonna use pretty thick coils of clay just because it's a large mass. And I don't want it moving around. So they're pretty thick, way larger than I would use for a small bowl, but this is a way larger surface area to trim. So I figured it'd be okay. That one was large. Just got my lugs of clay, downward pressure, so the plate doesn't move as I'm attaching these. Secure these to the wheel head. And now the plate should not move. I have 3 trimming tools that I might try. I've got this like large flat loop tool, this like flatter one that has a round area on the outside. And then I have this one, which is more detailed work. I really like this one because I know that it's sharp. These have not been sharpened in a while. I don't know when they were sharpened, probably never, probably just when they were new. So I don't know about them. I'm starting on the outside just to try and get it round. Remove that little guy. I know I have some thickness to play with. I'm going to leave this outside edge pretty much as high as it is. Once I feel like I can get it a little flatter, a little more level. Now I'm going to try and get this outside edge kind of angled the way I want. It does have a little curve, so this curved part of that tool could be quite nice to get that curve kind of just blending smoothly. You want to angle it a little bit. Lean over and check so you can see from the side. Like you're upside down and the plate's upside down, so it almost works. That looks pretty good, not bad. I do have this stick that I use to kind of measure the dimension, and I kind of want all the plates to have the same. With that one, the whole thing's going to topple. It'd be nice if they could stack so that if this dimension can fit inside this dimension, that would be ideal. I need to bring it down a little bit more for it to fit. Just about there. Yep. So that's actually quite a bit that it comes in. It does make me a little worried about like carving off too much. I'm worried about like this little area here getting a little too thin. So let's see how this goes. It would be not great if at this point I messed up the plates. Might also just choose to bring this up a bit. So that that's the foot. If the clay buildup gets in the way, you can just kind of move it out of the way. I did just look at the design, so there's actually no foot distinction from the outside. So it's just kind of clean edge. So let's remove that. It is kind of tricky to get this tool in there because it's a large tool. It's not a very large space. I kind of like it all to be flat and even. Yep. So I'm thinking that's pretty good for the outside. Double check. Yeah, seems pretty good. So that's like, tap that, that's pretty hollow. So I might not want to take much off of that. Get kind of a wide foot. I don't want to take much off of that. Can you hear that? That's why people tap on it. You can hear the difference. Hopefully the good mic allows you to hear the difference. And that's what hashtag listen to the bread means. Gotta listen to it. This is the bread, by the way. In this scenario. In other scenarios, the bread is the students. You gotta listen to them. So I'm gonna leave that mostly as is. I'm gonna trim a little bit just to like get the surface. It helps compress it, helps reduce cracking a little. I don't want to go too thin. I'm going to do a second circle right here. Looks pretty good. I need one more tool. The rubber rib. Just smooth this, burnish the base a little bit. If this is smooth, the smoother it is, the less likelihood that it's gonna scratch any table that you put it on. Less chance of damaging anything. So just kind of burnish it and get those little pieces of grit kind of back in the clay, so that it's less likely to scratch a surface. I had plenty to go with. Feels like maybe that thick. I don't want to get it too thin, because if it's too thin and then shrinks very quickly, it could crack and become kind of nasty. So there is your trimmed plate. Now I just have to recreate it 4 more times. First one's the trickiest.